evening, PGA DFS fans. It's that time again, live before lock. It's the RBC Heritage, and I am Jason Rouslin, joined by Ben Rasa. It's a fun one this week. I know it's maybe not the Masters. Maybe a few of us, myself included, are a little bit hungover from the Masters week and all of the content that we get to consume. But we turn our attention at least to a fun golf course in Harbortown Golf Links in Hilton Head Island. And it looks like we've got a pretty good week and maybe the strongest field ever here, Ben, this week. So I know it's a week after the Masters, but not a bad field in course to come back to.
No, not at all. It's different. I always say my favorite things are weeks that feel unique, and certainly Harbortown is unique. If nothing else, we get a bump in the field strength. We get over the dust settles, and certainly some of the storylines from the Masters will carry over. Others, like Tiger storyline, will be dormant. Certainly for the near future, but I am excited to dive into Heritage. I like this tournament. I like this field.
Yeah, listen, I need to up my game a little bit more. Chad has caught on to me that I'm wearing the plaid shirt for the plaid of the tournament.
I see what you did there.
But I think I need to actually get like the red, black, and white that the tournament goes off of. This is, got some blue.
I think I have that shirt. That's a good shirt. I think I own that shirt.
I can carry the show for a couple minutes if you want.
No, I got Reptar on my shirt, so I'm gonna stick.
Rugrats. Yeah,
that's true.
We can't give that up. Give that up. So, I want to thank Yahoo, sponsor of the show tonight. Also, I want to make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. We have awesome content coming out and new stuff, especially with MLB starting all the time. So, subscribe to this channel here and my main man Ben's Odd Shopper channel as well. He's on there all the time, giving the fire takes. We actually had a pretty good week last week in our little Masters betting pod. Shane Lowry, we talked about a lot. So check that out over on Odds Shopper channel. I'll tell you about Yahoo in just a little bit, but let's first dive into some waves, weathers, and withdrawals. Let's start off with the withdrawals, as we always do, Ben. Abraham Answer didn't get priced in most fields. I saw him in one place. He is withdraw, and Sebastian Munoz was a withdraw today. Nothing really of note. Maybe just didn't want to play. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything. Did you? No,
not really. I will say Munoz was a semi-big deal. He was definitely going to be a target for me in the low sevens.
Yep.
We really haven't seen a ton of him post players where he blew up. I don't know what the deal is with him, but yeah, a couple guys missing. I honestly thought it was going to be worse when I saw the field strength. I had a feeling the big names might pull out, and so far so good. It looks like the majority of these guys will be teeing it up tomorrow.
Yeah, and just quickly, Geoff on our chat says hi and what's up. Wants to know if you're playing on Yahoo. I can tell Geoff that I definitely am this week. I like their MME contest. My DraftKings MME has not been as good as I wanted to, so I'm going to focus my MME over there. Ben, how about you this week?
Yeah, I played there last week. I did fine because, again, I was able to get to combinations that I simply couldn't get on some of the other sites. So I haven't built there yet right now, but I do plan to do that after the show. And again, I say it every time. There are so many guys that I'm interested in that are $20 there, that are in the mid set, Fratelli's the min. There's just a million guys that are the flat bottom dirt. I love it. Like I'm going to have crazy lineups. Smalley's the min. Davis Riley is $21. Just a lot of names that I'm very interested in.
Me as well. And if you're interested about the weather this week, it doesn't look like we have much going on, but our new PGA weather splits tool is a perfect way to do that. Just a little tidbit there. Looks like a point, maybe a quarter of a stroke each morning. So if you're playing Showdown, perfect tool to use to see who could have the best weather of anybody. So check that out. Over there, Ben, you didn't see anything different than me, right? Just like 7 to 11 miles an hour wind, nothing stature, nothing up.
Yeah, I think that's pretty straight up for me. Bo Hostler, we're going to talk about him, of course. So we got a lot to get to, a lot of cheapies. But I think we're safe on the weather front. Thank God. That's a big win.
Again, like I said, check out that weather splits tool, because if you're playing Showdown, I think a quarter of a stroke could end up swaying things. And I'll give you a couple of names. Tomorrow morning is supposed to be really good weather. And going out first, I got to ask you about this, because we've seen both ways, right? Sometimes we like to bet the first round leader, and sometimes they bogey the first couple of holes, and that's it. We don't see them the rest of the tournament. So with Cameron Young, Davis Riley, and Sahith Theegala, 3 names playing very good this year. 3 names that I'm sure you're probably interested. I know you just said you're interested in one, certainly on Yahoo. So what do you make of 3 guys you like having the first tee time. What do you do with that?
It is a little weird. I feel like we don't see that overly often, certainly not in majors, but for here, I am kind of interested. These guys in their own right are always very difficult to break down because we talk about this. They might just be amazing, or they're not tour quality. We just don't have the data yet. And so far, it looks like all 3 are going to be around for quite a while. Cameron Young was in the Masters. Davis Riley nearly won. Thiegelin nearly won. So I am comfortable if you want to put them on the first round leader card. I think Davis Riley would be where I would look of the 3. But it is weird, and I'm kind of excited to see. Maybe I get a quick start to the week.
All right. So if you're Cameron Young, you're 25 years old, you've made $2.3 million this year, probably some decent money in sponsorships as well.
Just retire.
If the Saudi Golf League came and offered you, Cameron Young, $25 million sign-on bonus, would you take it right now? Yes or no?
I mean, I would not take it, but he might. I mean, I would do pretty much anything to not have to play with Bubba. So that would be, you can't put a price on that. So whichever tour he was on, I would probably go to the opposite. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, the one thing I think, not that we're going to talk about this a ton, the underbelly of guys that maybe are struggling for status. I know they're not big draws, but those guys, it's hard to blame them. If you're eking out a living and you can go over there and change your life by winning a 48-man field, why wouldn't you? But I don't think Cameron Young, who's got a bright future, will be that interested.
Only if they send the first class plane ticket where I get to shower in the plane. Am I going, Jason? That's
the Arab Emirates.
Right.
Yeah, planes.
Only way.
Fly Emirates, good people.
Yeah,
those commercials, they're ingrained in my head.
Oh man, I'll tell you. All right, back to the golfers here. If you are subscribed to PGA Tour Live, you're going to get Daniel Bergers, Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes, Pat Cantlay, Kevin Kisner, Billy Horschel, and Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Shane Lowry. That's all in the morning. The afternoon wave, if you're looking to play a little contrary, I would say Colin Morikawa, Stuart Sink, Webb Simpson, Cameron Smith, Joaquin Niemann, and Sungjae Im, a President's Cup pairing, along with Dustin Johnson, Sepp Straka, and Matt Kuchar. Okay, that's going to lead us into our rank 'em here. We'll talk about those players I just mentioned, and of course, any that you would like to in a bit. So we're going to start off our rank 'em category with the top of the board. This week we have Justin Thomas, Cameron Smith, and Dustin Johnson. For me, Ben, I'm going to full fade. I never full fade. I'm going to have like 3% Cameron Smith. I do not see a reason to play him at 10,800 this week. I'm jumping on your train. I will play a little JT, and I'll play a decent amount of DJ this week. I think he's entered into my core. I think he presents solid value, and nobody wants to own him compared to the other 2 guys. So what say you on these 3? Do you align, or would you rather have JT over DJ?
I would rather have JT over DJ, but I'm comfortable with either. I definitely align on Cam Smith. I swear, and no one's going to believe me, it's not me being stubborn. I truly don't like the spot for Cam Smith as much as the other.
10,800. There's no reason to play him in my.
I mean, obviously Cam Smith punished me last week. I think we saw that. So did Scotty Scheffler. Rory did his thing. That was my small consolation prize. But I just look at this. Cam Smith is unbelievable. It's just, are you going to play Cam Smith or JT? Cam Smith or DJ? Cam Smith or go balanced? I'm choosing the latter in all of those scenarios. So again, it's a product of the opportunity cost. I said this last week with Scotty Scheffler. He's a great golfer. If he goes out and beats me, I have to live with it. And I have to live with it with Cam Smith. I have other priorities. JT would be the first one, though.
Yeah, I totally agree. Last thing on Cam Smith I'll say is last time he won the Tournament of Champions, right, in resounding fashion. Next week he went to Sony and he missed the cut. Now, I know he didn't win the Masters last week, but he put every ounce of energy he had, obviously, into that Sunday round. I'm going to say we're going to see something similar. He's already missed the cut here a couple of times at the Heritage. It can yield that with this type of course, especially if you're wild with his driver, which he was certainly last week at a lot of times. So for me, there's just no need to play Cam Smith this week. Now let's go to the 20-plus percenters. All 3 of these golfers are trending on 20% owned or above. So obviously the pricing is going to make this a little different, Ben. But Colin Morikawa, Matt Fitzpatrick, Russell Henley, for me, they're all in my player pool, all a big part of it. However, if I had to rank them, go Morikawa, Henley, Fitzpatrick. I'll throw it to you.
So Morikawa, Henley, did you say?
Yeah, Morikawa, Henley, and Fitzpatrick all trending 20%.
Yeah, so they're going to be very popular, naturally. I think Fitzy does make a ton of sense. There's no doubt. I'm going to probably eat that chalk. He should love this course. He didn't have a great start to his Heritage career. I don't know if he's figuring it out or it could just be variance. He started to really get it together, though. 14th, 39th, 14th, and 4th in the last 4 years. I like the game. Morikawa sets up perfectly for this. There's no doubt about it. Russell Henley would be a distant third. I like the other two. Something against Henley, but he's going to be very, very popular. He's flat 9. I love the 9K range, and he is one of the few guys that I think I'm going to have to squeeze to get enough shares for the rest of them.
Yeah, Morikawa, for me, take majors away. Just PGA Tour stops. There's a reason why this is on his card. I think this is one of the best PGA Tour courses for him. Small greens, harder to hit fairways, harder to hit greens. I mean, that's just right up Morikawa's alley. I've seen some, going around. There was a prop. I saw like 9.5 fairways. I think on Prize Picks over there. I like that. Morikawa just peppers them. He looked good last week in all 4 categories. Maybe he gained a stroke around the green with that fold-out bunker shot after Rory did it on Sunday. But nonetheless, he still had a great week in all strokes gained categories. So Morikawa, my biggest play on the slate. Russell Henley and Fitzpatrick are about equal for me. I can't fade any of them. I know it's tough. They're the 3 highest owned, but going under on Cam Smith, going under on Justin Thomas should provide enough leverage for me. Plus, I'm fading a couple of other guys that we'll get to in a bit, especially in the mid-owned category of Shane Lowry. I got to jump off the train at some point. It's got to stop, right, Ben? I mean, he's playing so good. Other 3 I matched up with him: Corey Connors, Sung J M, and Joaquin Niemann. So rank those 4 for me.
Yeah, so this is, again, this 9K range that's got a lot of guys. Shane Lowry, I mean, he's playing the best of most people in the world outside of Scottie Scheffler, so I get it. I guess my biggest question there is, do I want to find $200 for Patrick Cantlay, who I know is not in this foursome, but for me, the answer is yes, and that does factor in. I like Niemann. I know it's not, I don't think it's the best course for him, even though if you say, well, look what he did in his one appearance, he was on fire with the irons. He gained 7.5 strokes on the approach. Anywhere you do that, you're going to be just fine, and he can do that. So I'm still going to look to him. I think if I had to order it, it would be Lowry for safety, then Niemann, Connors, and then Sanjay. Sanjay, I just have no feel. He was in the tournament last week without ever, he was in it, but he was never truly in it, especially late. He took that early lead, and then he kind of was just lurking the entire time. Yeah,
never really was a factor after Thursday, I should say.
But he didn't fall apart either. He was just there.
No, he was just there. Exactly. And I think it just goes to show what talent level Im does have. We know he's top of the world talent, and maybe he's just not totally fine-tuned enough to, get through all 4 rounds of the major. So I should have thrown Patrick Cantlay in there as well. It would be Cantlay for me, number 1. Same. I like Niemann. The fact that he's the lowest priced here, I think he has just as much upside as Im or Connors. So I'd rather just take the price discount here, Ben, and deal with, variance in those starts. I think Niemann, he looked good last week, certainly in the first round with Tiger. It kind of tailed off exactly like Im did last week. So, all right, let's go to a low owned now, above 8,500. We've got Daniel Berger and Jordan Spieth. So polar opposites for me. The guy that I hate and the guy that I love. And we'll throw in Harold Varner there as well. Looks like those 3 will be the only 3 over 8,500 that are under 10% owned. So why don't you rank them up for me, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting up here, even these guys, and I know how we're grouping this, I don't expect any of these guys to be 4%, 6%. They're still going to garner interest. There's no doubt.
Roughly, yep.
Yeah. So Varner is obviously in a different category price-wise. This is a good course for him. His runner-up, he nearly won last year here. I get it. Berger, I think I like all 3. My plan would be to get over on all 3, to be honest. I think Spieth's the wild card, though. Obviously, I'm not going to break him down with you on the show. I'm going to leave that to you. I don't know what he did. That was an awful miscut. No excuse, just a disgrace. He really torpedoed a couple lineups of mine as well along with it. I think he bounces back just fine, but I do think he's the most likely of the 3 to maybe struggle, but he is Jordan Spieth, and I think he's also the most likely winner. So boom bust with Spieth, safety with Price, with Varner, Berger's just there.
I'll get into Spieth in a second, but I was just looking at chat, and chat's making me laugh because I've got a list of names that people would play over Ricky. I've got Jim Furyk, makes sense, like a 6,200 in this field. Charlie Woods, 12-year-old, still not playing. Somebody's mom is also involved there. Could be a former LPGA pro. I might think about that at this point. So,
just Larry Mize made the list. That's
Larry Mize is on there now too. We love it. On Spieth, it was the worst 7 holes of golf I have ever seen him play since he turned pro, and I am not lying about that. He stepped on 12T +1, 3 strokes out of what could have been the lead after he was finished playing, and he steps on 12 into the wind. All you can't do on that hole is miss it short, and he tried to hit a cut up against the wind and instantly yelled at Michael Greller's caddy. I mean, instantly. It didn't even leave the club face before he was screaming at his caddy. Obviously Greller looks like he's here this week, so we didn't fire him, but he could have erased all of that garbage if he had just parred the 18th hole, and who knows what the hell he did. Again, a garbage hole, double the missed cut his first Masters. That's going to make him 6% owned. Sure, I'll have 13%. I think that's enough for me there. Berger, I agree with getting over, and Varner's probably my favorite out of the 3. I think he's got to be on the verge of a PGA Tour win. A really nice showing first 2 rounds at Augusta. Terrible Saturday. A long list of guys, Henley, that are in this field. Henley, Varner, all really struggled on Saturday. All bounced back on Sunday. So interesting plays for this week. Okay, let's go to let's go down to the 8K range. You said you love the 9K range. I do as well. It's going to make the 8K range a little thin, but I've got Webb, Simpson, Ty Hatton, and I threw in Alex Noren because I know you and I both love to play him. But this week, I'm going to come off him. I don't think it's a great course for him. I do like Ty Hatton on a bounce-back week. It's a normal PGA Tour week. You can play Ty Hatton. Don't play Ty Hatton in majors anymore, ever. And Webb Simpson, good price. I think he's on the up and up. How about you?
So I never like to play Webb. I do think this is a fine spot. He's not playing the best golf I've ever seen, but this is a course he's always thrived at. And he should. Ty Hatton would be my preferred target. I have to start really listening to Ty Hatton when he says, I hate this course. He hates Augusta. He wasn't even trying on the weekend, and that was also very unfortunate.
And he said that he wasn't trying either.
And he also mowed down some spectators with a fake machine gun that was an iron. So that's frowned upon in most cultures.
Back at 13th green, he's just there.
Yeah, he was out of control. But I do think he bounces back just fine. He's a good player. He's normally in a field like this. If he makes, any push on the weekend, he's in the mid-9s here with Fitzy. Like, I don't think that's even an argument. So 8,600 is a good price. I like Noren more than you for sure. I have no problem with it. The form is absolutely outstanding. 6th, 48th, 5th, 26th, and 12th. Positive tee to green in all 5. I'm just going to keep playing him. It's not the guy in the 8s for me, but when you talk about him and Hatton and Fleetwood, who we'll get to, that's a pretty good combination for me.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe Ty Hatton will avoid the hand gestures to the hole. This
dangerous
week.
Man.
Yeah, my God, this guy. I will say, I saw somebody tweet this. If Bryson DeChambeau was seen mowing people down with his putter on the back of 13, we'd never hear the end of it over here. But because he's a jolly old Englishman, people love him for it. We're talking about Ty Hatton now. So just maybe a little bit of I don't even know what that word is to use there. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but still unfair to Bryson, maybe a little bit there. Okay, let's go now into our high owned under 8K rank. And this will be the last one in this category. Oh, wait, you want to do Fleetwood, Kisner, and Kirk quickly, actually? Let's do them 3. Kind of low owned in the 8Ks. Tommy Fleetwood was projected to be popular, has come down a little bit. Chris Kirk playing good golf. So where do you go with these 3?
I like Fleetwood a lot. I bet Fleetwood at 55-1. I think that he's just a target in a lot of different ways. The form has come back. The irons naturally have come back with it. It's a chicken or the egg. The irons are better, and now he's coming in 16th and 14th and stuff, and that's probably why, because he's really found it tee to green for a change. So he would be first. The other 2, I don't really have a feel. Obviously, large field tournaments, you can always make a case, particularly with Kisner. He just gets it going. But I don't think this is the best spot in the world for either of them. Kirk, I'm somewhat indifferent for. I like Noren. I like Fleetwood. That kind of cancels the other 2.
Yeah, and I like Maverick McNeely, who we're going to talk about right now. So I would probably go same as you. Fleetwood at the top. I've clicked his name way more than Kisner and Kirk this week. So exactly the same as you. So let's go now to the 3 high-owned under 8K. Excuse me. Maverick McNeely, Kevin Na, and Adam Hadwin. I have those 3 as the top-owned. Ben, are you seeing anything differently? And if not, where do you rank these 3 higher-owned golfers?
Yeah, so I definitely think that these are going to be some of the, especially because the balance build looks pretty appealing. These are going to be very chalky guys. Kevin Na's playing great. Hadwin makes a ton of sense. Also,
put a foot out the door though for Kevin Na, right?
Kevin Na looks like he may be piecing out. Okay, so
we'll have to see with withdrawals anymore out of him.
Yeah, good point. I mean, this is a weird range though, because Maverick to me is the most intriguing target. A guy that's a little more volatile. His around the green game is suspect, can mask it with putting, certainly ball striking. I would choose him over the other ones. And Hadwin's going to be really popular. I think he's a staple in cash, just very consistent golf. And it's hard to push back when he's, in the mid 7s here.
Yeah. The Adam Hadwin chalk is really astonishing. Maybe not, though. He's coming in the top 10 3 straight times, so I shouldn't say that. He's playing great golf. I'd rather go McNeely. He is number 1 on my list of golfers that did not play in this year's Masters. I should say that didn't qualify for this year's Masters that I expect to be next year. He's just playing really good golf, and he's got the game to do so. He's always had it. It's starting to translate. I like him a lot this week. It's funny because when he first came out, we thought he was a bomber, and I still think he is. But some of his best results, Ben, have come in these more technical tracks. Pebble here, came in 4th last year, 2nd at Pebble. So certainly knows how to tone it down, if you will, and I like that. So McNeely, number 1. I'm not going to play Na. I think Na is actually much better at an Augusta type than here, so I won't play any Na. I'll have some Hadwin because I do think he's playing well.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in line with that. I think that Hadwin for stability, I have no problem. Not every guy, I talk about this a lot with lineup construction, not all 6 of your guys need to be the difference. Sometimes it's just don't lose me the tournament. And I think Hadwin accomplishes that more often than not.
Totally agree. All right. Last day, today's April 13th, and the MLB season is well underway. And today is the last day. So we've got like 4 more hours on our promo code Fastball. That is going to give you MLB Express Weekly Pass for just $1. Again, the promo is Fastball on that. Baseball is well underway. You want to take advantage of that. Sure. A great way to see what we have behind the paywall there. So just a couple of more hours to take advantage of that. Okay, maybe a couple of more hours or a couple of more starts for this first golfer in the Make the Cut segment to earn some PGA Tour dollars, as he was the first golfer to basically say he'd be heading to Saudi Arabia, and that's Jason Kokrak. So pretty good week last week. While he's here, are you going to play him or are you going to be fading him? We can start with this week, though. That's the most important.
So again, I think he's a fine play. The problem is he's in a really crowded range. If you find $200, $300, $400, you're getting to Noren, Siwoo, Fleetwood types. If you're not, Kuchar, Harmon, Hoagie, Hadwin, Cam Young, a lot of names there. So I don't hate the spot individually for a guy like Kokrak, but I do think that there are better plays both north and south. So for that reason, I think he makes the cut, but he is not a factor for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a miscut for him this week.
Good. Get out of here.
Yeah, just go ahead and head on home or head on to wherever you need to go to. Brian Harmon curtailed a lot of good lineups. He was scoring through 2 rounds, doing his eagle and 7 birdie thing, but he ended up missing the cut at +5 on the numbers. So are you ready to go back to Harmon? And if so, that means you think he's going to play all 4 rounds. If not, maybe he's in a bad spot of form after the 3rd place finish at the Valspar.
I think it's actually a pretty telling week for him. This should be a good bounce back. There's no reason he should miss this cut. Can putt it, Bermuda, short, layout, everything checks out for him. I'm not going to say I'm concerned per se, but at the same time, if he does miss this cut, I would think that'd be a pretty big disappointment. The Masters, I'm willing to throw that out. He was good at Valspar. He was positive tee to green. And I kind of expect the same, not saying he's going to come in the top 5, but I do think he makes the weekend.
Mito Pereira, 4 of his last 5 cuts made, a couple of top 13s, and he's top 10 in the field in greens and regulation this year. And his putter's gotten better. So I think my answer is yes, he's going to play all 4 days. I think he'll be a factor here as he's starting to gain some traction in his form.
He's a tough one. I think that he's a very interesting, like if you're talking about the, specific contest selection, like the large $20, I think he's a real good play in something like that. Because to me, Mito, he could win. But we still don't really know. It looks like tee to green is going to be his strength and short game is going to be his weakness if he has one. So I get it. I prefer Hoagie, I think, and I definitely prefer Maverick, but I'm not going to push back. Mito is a talented guy. We've seen flashes of it, and I think you kind of want to play him in tournaments if you have a big enough portfolio.
Yeah, for sure. Just to clarify here, this is metaphorically about Kevin Na and Jason Kokrak. They're here. They're playing. They've just been reported this morning as I think there were 7 names reported that the Saudi Golf League has basically said they've signed. None of the players that they've said they've signed has come out and said, yes, we are leaving. So Na, Kokrak here to play this week. In 3 weeks, maybe not, but they're here right now. So just wanted to make that clear. I didn't want to confuse anybody in chat or anything like that. They're here, they're playing. Whether they make the cut or not, that's a different story. All right, now let's move on. A couple more names here. Cameron Young. The form has gotten worse. Now, I believe long-term in his form. I love his swing. Believe it or not, this should be a good comeback spot for him. He's been superb off the tee. I think he gets through all 4 days here this week. I know his form isn't great. I don't think he'll be a factor, though, so I'm not playing him all that much, but I do think he plays all 4 days.
I'm pretty much kind of in line with that. When we really dig into what he's been doing, a huge step up. Like he was playing phenomenal golf. He goes to the Players and he gets cut. Okay, it's the Players. There's water. It's the strongest field. Then he goes to the Masters and he gets cut. Like that's not a huge deal to me. Get back, competitive field, lean on your off the tee game, make your putts. I think he's just fine. Again, not a priority, but yeah, Cam Young's just talented enough to make this weekend.
And just goes to show how talented he is. At 7,500, he is considered the best value according to our Awesemo DFS projections. A little bit a peek behind the curtain there. That is part of our. You go under our Awesemo PGA DFS projections value. There's so many useful things in this. One of the things that we look for, of course, is the value, and Cam Young is up there. So definitely many reasons to play him this week. Ian Poulter and Luke List. Don't love either of them. I'm going to say they both packed their bags this week.
I'll split the difference. I don't like Poulter either.
Okay.
List is another one. I'm going to put him in the Cam Young, Brian Harmon. Like you should bounce back fine. The form really has fallen off after the win. And we see this breakthrough win, 53rd miscut, 53rd miscut. Not great. The putter is absolutely in shambles. Him putting at the Masters was a joke. I mean, what's there to say? Luke List at the Masters is just not something he can handle on the green. So I think he's better here. I'm not going to make him a priority, but I think of the two, he's more likely to make the cut. I really don't like the spot for Poulter. The price is fine, but there's too many other guys in the same range.
Yeah, a friend of the show in the chat, Jamal, just asked me, what's going on with DJ and why hasn't he been playing as well lately? Well, I think we can put that a little bit in perspective, right? He's one of the only golfers ever to win however many number of years on tour, Ben. I mean, it's way up there now.
Over a decade.
While he hasn't won since November 2020, it's still considered he hasn't gone a season without it yet still. He's had 2 top 10s and 3 top 12s in his last 4 starts. So I think it's getting better. But do I think that Dustin Johnson could be like on the 6th inning of his career? Yeah, I mean, I think that he's probably maybe over his peak at golf. That doesn't mean he's not going to win another major, though, or another golf tournament. He's one of the best players ever to live, in my opinion, still probably top 20 in that regard. So while the form may not be as strong as we want it, I think it is a good spot for him this week. I think, Ben, you and I both agree there. We're certainly playing him over Cam Smith, that's for sure.
Well, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the numbers with DJ, he's fine. His around the green game, it has bled a little bit. Yep. The off the tee game is still really strong. The irons are the same. The putter's the same. The fields are getting stronger. Like people are just so good now. it's tough, but he's not playing the best golf, but I think he's going to be just fine.
Agreed. Troy Merritt has been a player we have liked a good amount this year. Does he play all 4 days and continue the streak?
I think he does. Troy Merritt is always a tough guy to roster because it's ugly tee to green, but he can gain and frequently does 4, 5, 6, 8 strokes putting. He bails himself out with a week off the tee game. I think he does that here. I think he was 4th at Valero and he gained 10 strokes putting. Not calling for 10 strokes putting, but I think he does make the weekend.
As bad as Spieth's miscut was, and it was bad, EVR might be just as bad. He comes to 15. And, oh man, I was chatting with somebody about this on Twitter and I apologize. I'll have to go look. He comes to 15 and I'm watching him. I'm like, okay, he's got like 260 out. And I'm like, he's right on the cut line at +4. Like, okay, he's going to lay up here and hit the ball into the water on his layup. And that's exactly what he did. Made double. Then he ended up just obviously throwing in the towel after that and ended up finishing at 8 over. But I don't understand. It happened a couple of times. Poseidon, who laid up from 210 on 13, then hit it in the water. I don't understand why these guys are laying up from 260 and in when they're just going to hit it in the water the next time. Obviously, that's not their plan, but there seems like so much more risk on those holes to lay up than to just go for it, hit it in the water, drop it, and then hit it onto the green if that's what's going to happen. I don't know. What do you make of EVR this week? You don't have to worry about my rant there.
I mean, I get it. I'm someone that plays EVR all the time. It never goes well. Besides Xander, who had by far the worst performance of any player in the field last week, EVR was close. I'm not really going back to him here, and I'm happy I'm not, because I like the range better for some of these other guys. So I'll let other people, if they for some reason want to chase EVR, I'm finally off him this week.
Well, everybody,
watch probably win
of that, because we know what happens when that happens. Ben is off. That's what we just get on a guy for a couple of weeks. Misses the cut, and then all of a sudden pops.
Yep.
We're off him. It happens to us all the time. Sepp Straka, I pretty much begged you guys to let me play last week, and it ended up paying off. He scored just about 60 points, a pretty solid week overall for the debut. And 7,200 this week, I think he's decent. I've got him in the player pool. I think he plays all 4 days. Maybe something similar last week, like top 25, top 20. I think he's fine.
Yeah, it's no problem with Straka either. I do prefer Knox at the same-ish price. He's right in that similar range. So splitting hairs, but Sepp Straka's really made strides around the green, stepped up. Unlike Luke List, Sepp Straka won, and he's kind of continued some of that form, and I like to see that. So I can't push back on Straka.
As has Tom Hoge, exactly similar to Sepp Straka. Won the AT&T Pebble Beach, has continued that form, played well last week. Too highly owned for you this week. And second part of that, will he make the weekend?
I think he will make the weekend. I am a little worried about ownership. So like most players, I'm going to have to just be cognizant of exactly where I use him, for lineup construction. It's not like I think Hadwin's going to be significantly more popular at the same price, basically. But Hoagie's also going to garner, I'd say, mid-teens, and that's what we have him. One of the many tools that, of course, I use to build my lineups each week. I like him, improved around the green, good player right now. I think he does make the weekend.
Denny McCarthy, 7,200.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to be in here.
I'm going to be in on Denny McCarthy until something changes. I don't know
why they keep pricing him down here. Why not play him?
He's missed one cut in 2022. The guy is automatic with the putter. He's gained strokes putting in every event in 2022.
It's insane.
Why not? Like, it's a good course for him. I feel super comfortable with him. And no, he doesn't win tournaments, but you don't need him to at 7,200. He's a good scorer. He's an elite putter. I'm just going to keep playing him and let other people kind of miss out. And if they price him up, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, not only has he improved his play, but he's also hitting a ton of fairways. He ranks in like the top 15 in driving accuracy in this field. Should really be able to put that to good use here this week. I totally agree with you on Denny McCarthy, 7,200. And just like you said, not a lot of ownership, maybe 5-6%. And I'm not scared off by that.
Yeah, I get that.
Was pretty upset when Stewie Sinks throws up the hole-in-one on 16, only to not get another birdie and make the cut. But 7th at the Valspar, irons are certainly playing well. Defending champ, I mean, I got him in the player pool, so I think he's playing all 4 days.
I think that's kind of where he's at. If you're playing, MME, he should be in there. I don't like him for small fields. I don't like him for limited lineups. He's not going to be in my lineups. It's more product that I prefer Straka and McCarthy and Knox. So nothing against Sink, but opportunity costs too much.
What about Aaron Wise? When
God.
he going to play good golf again?
Probably never, but that doesn't mean I won't play him. He can't putt. He just can't. There's just no sign that it's going to get fixed. He's lost in 4 at 5. He lost 5 strokes at the Players, still came in 50th. He lost 4.5 strokes at API. He came in 17th. That's ungodly. He gained almost 11 strokes tee to green. So, I mean, what can I say?
Lister wise.
Yeah. If I had one of them to make a putt for my life.
Yes.
I think I would go Wise, but I don't know why. I just would. I'm going to play him. Again, ball striking coastal tracks. We've seen it. It just, the putting is really, really setting him back right now.
I just want a yes or a no because chat has already handled this for us. So just a yes or a no here. Does Ricky Fowler play all 4 days?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Chat has also asked us about Joel Damon a couple of times. His off the tee game this year, Ben, has been very, very good. Much better than years past. Irons are always okay. He got sick in the Dominican. He got, whatever they call it, traveler's diarrhea or whatever. So we got to throw that out, obviously, as a start. And other than that, it's been good. I mean, he's been solid. Maybe not good. He's been solid. So 6,800. If you're playing cash, I might even consider him for it down here. He may be a little aggressive for cash, but still, I think he's a safe play. Maybe not a ton of upside.
Yeah, I mean, Dahmen certainly ball striking wise stands out amongst his peers in this range. The form has been a little all over the place. There's no doubt he's another one. He won finally at a week event, and then since then it's been kind of a roller coaster. He pops up here and there. Tee to green's still good enough for me though. When you're looking at him, he's going to be most likely your last man in, and I think that he's worthy of some of those shares. Yeah.
Yeah. Joel Damon should have taken some Cipro with him to the Dominican there. That might have solved some of his problems. But nonetheless, Chad Ramey did play in the Dominican and played very well. He won that one, right? I get the Dominican.
He beat Smalley.
Yeah, he beat Smalley, right. 6,800. Coming onto the PGA Tour this year, and I put up the Korn Ferry Tour profile every year. I put it up right at the beginning of the season with their statistical numbers and all that, just so people could see. And Ramey was like number 1 and number 5 in greens and regulation and driving accuracy on the Korn Ferry Tour last year. So very accurate and hit a ton of greens. Well, that's the profile we want here. So at 6,800, Ben, I'm going back into him as a guy. I'm not going to say it's going to be a Scotty Scheffler and floodgates are going to open. But I think he continues to improve his standing in the FedEx Cup, and I think he can get it done here this week.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, the nice thing about a guy like Chad Ramey is when you're looking to play him, you're comparing him to Nate Lashley, to Cam Davis, to Bo Hostler. It's not murderer's row down there for obvious reasons. So it's not that hard to kind of justify why you may want to go to him. I don't think you need to allocate a lot of ownership to get leverage. So I don't have a feel for him, but the good thing is even if he gets cut, he's not going to torpedo your week unless for some reason you're going hyper aggressive.
Yeah. Would you rather play Bo Hostler, who's had a great season?
So I've been playing Bo Hostler, him and Denny McCarthy. What a world. I think I'd rather play Joel Dahmen over both of them, but I do think you can look to Hostler, puts so much pressure on his putter, but he shows up time and time again with it. So his irons are weak. There's no doubt about it. He gets himself into trouble off the tee time and time again, and then he bails himself out. I do worry a little that bent is his preferred surface. He's done a lot of damage there.
Yes.
That's probably my biggest concern. So I think Hostler is fine, but there are some red flags that I didn't see in previous weeks.
I think I'm going to be all Hostler this week. I think this is more again, I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself because I said with Maverick McNeely that Pebble Beach could be a good comp course to this with its technical nature. You can't overpower it. Well, Hostler came in second or third there this year. So I think I'll probably have a little. He's certainly shown us that he's playing much better than a $6,700 golfer this year. So I think just for that itself, he probably is more in line with 7,300, with Tom Hoagie being 76. I think Hostler should be somewhere a little bit below that, not way below it. So I do like Hostler a little bit. Emiliano Grillo, he's back into our conversations. This is typically a good track for him. We've got him as our cover boy here this week. Does that mean he gets through to the weekend, man?
Who's picking? I gotta have a talk with our graphics team just for me.
Toying with you, man.
No, he doesn't play anything. I would love for him to make it, but he doesn't even show any form. I mean, he's missed 5 of 6 cuts. And it's not even, it used to be like, well, he can't putt. It's like Wise. He can't do anything. His tee to green numbers are horrendous. So I would love to see Grillo back in form. I don't see it at all, though. I'm not playing him, and I'm the biggest Grillo guy out there.
There's nobody bigger on the street in Grillo than you. So very interesting there. He hasn't, though. He has shown 0 form. A name just brought up in chat, a really good call here. Matthew Neesmith gained a career high close to 10 strokes on the approach at the Valspar a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, that was going to regress at the Valero. He ended up missing the cut. I don't think Valero is a good start for him. I think this one is. He's done well at the RSM, right down the street at Sea Island. So I think this is a good spot for him, and I think it's a good spot to roster him at 6,600 this week.
Yeah, again, every $100 down here really is important because you're tapping into just wildly different quality of players as we go down. Neesmith has flashed it. He can get crazy out with the irons. You don't need to allocate a lot. I would prefer Nate Lashley. I think that he's an interesting sleeper pick. He's playing better. He's made 4 straight cuts. But again, these are very, very, high risk type players, and that's why they can be your last man in.
Yeah, interesting. Actually, Bill brings up Nate Lashley as you bring him up at the same time. So there's a little something there. We like that. Lashley, tour winner, hasn't played good in a couple of weeks, couple of months, I should say. But he is starting to show form, at least in the last couple of starts. So I don't mind it here. I'm going to spread my ownership, pretty wide, so rather thin in terms of how much each player is going to get. But I'm going to have a lot of players in this realm. One of them will be Garrick Higo at 6,400. Looked pretty good last week until he just could not make a par coming in. So I think he does play all 4 days here this week, though.
Yeah, his Friday was out of control. He lost, the wheels came off in a big way. But it's Augusta. I don't read much into anything when guys can't handle that, particularly a guy as young and as talented as someone like Higo. So I'm fine with it. He'd probably be a macro buy if you're going to do it, just because he's got that talent. There's not a lot of names. I will say, I got to ask you about Henrik Stenson. Is that like real? Is that too far gone? Because to me, it's okay if you wanted to take a shot with him.
I guess what's he at? Is he at 64 or 65?
He's at 65. Now, yeah, I'm saying Henrik Stenson for everyone that knows what I'm talking about. The Swede. He's made 2 straight, Valspar and Valero found the weekend. Finally, tee to green, it's flipped. He can lean on the 3-wood here. I don't think it's that crazy, but maybe this is just Stenson is truly gone. Unlike DJ, who I still think can do it. I don't know if Stenson can do it anymore.
I don't think so. And let me, before I go into full detail about Stenson, let me ask you about this guy that's at the same exact price, that either you're going to tell me he's a big game hunter in his 2 majors, he's coming 4th and 14th, or he's starting to come into form. And I'm talking about Harry Higgs. He came tied for 14th last week, but that's actually not what I'm excited about. What I'm excited about is he was 4th in the best field, or one of the best fields of the year, not the best, one of the best, in strokes gained on the approach. He gained over just about 7 strokes on the week, 1.7 per round. So I can't get to playing Henrik Stenson when I think Harry Higgs is in good form at the same price.
Yeah, Harry Higgs is always a tough evaluation because he comes out of nowhere. Like going into the Masters, not only did it seem like he was probably overmatched just because it's the Masters, miscut, 39th miscut. Like there wasn't much there. And then boom, big time showing. A lot of times he does that and then he fades back to irrelevance. You know, you were referencing the PGA where he comes in fourth and then he followed that up with a miscut at Charles Schwab. Like it's hard to know.
Any Brooks Koepka deal going on here? Like legit.
Like, I don't know why. Yeah, he seems to be able to conjure it up and then I don't know. So I get it, but I think you're definitely going to take some lumps when you do that, as you will with any of these guys in the mid sixes.
Yeah, you will. I like him. Also like JT Poston, a couple of top tens here, missed the cut last year, but a couple of top tens before. Form is okay. He's just a guy that can get lightning hot with the putter and sometimes has a good week tee to green. So I think he's okay at 6,500, 2% owned. I'll have 4 or 5%.
Yeah, again, you can get, it's all about the multiplier, like 2.5x on a 2% guy is not a huge deal because, say you're building your 1/20th of your lineups, if you're building 100 or whatnot, it's no big deal. So I get it. I think if you're honing in, you're talking 3 max, single entry, Poston, not even close for me, but large fields, he can always flash and he's done that before.
I think it's a great call there. I was looking, let's see, I thought we missed one in chat. Oh, Stenson was 6,400 and
Stenson 65.
Yeah, at the same price, Awesemo value projections loves Pat Perez. So Pat Perez or Henrik Stenson, and does Patty P play all 4 rounds this week?
Patty P. Last time I played Pat Perez at a coastal or an island course, he literally left the island. He just left Bermuda for reasons unknown after he made the cut. So thanks, Pat Perez, for doing that. He's made 4 or 5 cuts. His off the tee game is weak, but you can mask that here. I get it. I get why our tools are identifying him as a possible punt play. I just don't know if I'll have room. I'm not trying to land down here unless I double jam Cantlay and one more up top. So I don't think I need to do that so much.
Oh, Jeffrey brings up a name that I think is actually interesting because we've seen Cam Tringale in a field exactly like this be priced at 8,000 or above. Here he is at 7,000 now, and nobody wants to own him. I know he's been injured, but what are you taking here? Are you taking the no roller coaster approach with bumper cars? Jay Lizzie is asking you about some theme park amusements here, and we'll throw in our guy Cam Tringale into the theme park discussion.
So to answer both questions, which are equally important, I'm not a super fan of bumper cars, but yeah, they don't bother me like they do roller coasters or
so you're a no-go on roller coasters.
No, absolutely not.
You couldn't pay me to go on a roller coaster.
Yeah, correct. That's the correct take. It's not that I just wouldn't do it. There's nothing that could happen. Like if a close family member needed a kidney and the only way they could get it was for me to go on a roller coaster, they would have to find another donor. It's not happening. I don't do roller coasters. Ferris wheels are in the fringe.
Ooh, dude, I wouldn't do those. I'm out.
Yeah, I can't do heights. Bumper cars on the ground, no problem. Now Cameron Tringale.
Even at an established like amusement park, like a Six Flags,
Dude,
I
understand.
What do you mean establish?
I understand like a county fair, they set it up in the parking lot. You should probably avoid those. I'm 100% in agreement.
I don't go to like uncredited amusement parks.
Guys, I go to Disney World like every other week, and I'm not on the rides. I take pictures of my wife and my son on them, and I'll go to the ice cream stand right next door.
You monitor from the ground.
I keep everything, going and smooth and, maybe
hot air balloon.
It's a small world. Maybe if my son wants to go on it, maybe we'll talk about it. Okay. Now back to golf before we
Tringale.
Back to Tringale.
I think it's a good call to identify him because he was chalk in the mid 8s in like fields of this strength, but I don't even know if this is an amusement park pun, but the wheels have fallen off Tringale's game here. It's just bad. His putting is bad. His off the tee game is bad. His irons are good. He's gained in 7 of 8 with the approach. So if you think he can flip it, I get it. I'm just not really drawn there. You've got Davis Riley, you've got Wise, you've got McCarthy. I'm more apt to play those guys than go to Tringale.
I think so too. Let's what do we got for time? 850. Let me give you a couple more names. Doc Redmond, 6,400. He's a guy that I want to play. I mean, I don't bring him up to you unless I want to play him. I feel like he's started to get going and then, went down to Corrales and kind of derailed it. So can Doc Redmond get back on form here this week and make the weekend?
Doc Redmond is an elite scorer when he does make the weekend. So I think that's the allure of it. Yep. I think his miscut equity is actually pretty high, but you're kind of paying him to know that if you can get him through, he's probably going to outscore his placement points. And I think there's a big reason to go there. I put him in the Higo camp. Dangerous, but if you get them through, they can score so well. They can attack the par fives. I think that's a fine play. Oh yeah, bungee jumping. That's awful too.
Bungee jumping out, hot air balloon out, skydiving out. All three.
Those are all the worst three.
Yeah,
I think truly the worst. Like skydiving would be actually last.
There's 0.0 chance on this.
Like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's a reverse free roll. If you skydive and nothing happens, you're one of like millions of people who have skydived. If something terrible happens, then you're unique and you're dead. Like there's literally nothing that can happen.
Awesome story though for your relatives. How'd he go? Bounced off the earth 25 feet.
Yeah, that's a tough scene. No, that Lanto.
Hot air balloons, I agree with.
Oh, okay. I want to bring up two more guys in the 7,000.
Please.
Patton Kizzire and Lanto Griffin. Lanto, I sent out a tweet earlier about 2 hours ago saying friends and family narrative, because he came out and said he's got a lot of friends and family watching this week. Do you buy into that narrative on a guy that isn't playing well, but is a good golfer?
So I think that the talent keeps him in the conversation. Lanto can play. There's no doubt about it. I just worry a little bit. So he's in an interesting range. He's with Sneds, who had a crazy showing ball striking wise in his last start. He's with Bo Hostler. He's with Joel Dahman, Cam Davis as well. I definitely prefer Dahman. I think you could argue that Lanto is second there, but I don't know how often I need a $6,800 player. Talent alone keeps him in the conversation, though. I do think if you want to go to Lanto, it is a worthwhile target.
And Kizzire as well, or rather go Lanto over Kizzire?
So Kazai's a couple $100. Yeah, he's 71.
71 for 68. Yep.
I'd rather go Kazire than Lanto, but it's a higher opportunity cost because when you get up there, you can play Tringale, you could play Wise, you could play McCarthy and those guys.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, we're going to move on to our betting card and then a couple of different lineup builds. But before we do, I want to tell you about a little sweet promo we've got going on with the NBA playoffs. Ben, I never talk about NBA, right? That's the furthest sport I talk about. However, I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed making a couple of drafts on an underdog this afternoon. And all I did, I'm a Celtics fan if I had to root for a team. So I'm, coming from Rhode Island, that's who I root for. So all I did was I pulled up Josh Engelman's projections, picked a couple of Celtics, and filled them in with all of the other good projections that he said. It's a pretty easy. So what we've got for you is a promo with Underdog. It is, let me tell you about it. You're going to get double your first deposit by using promo code Awesemo, and you're going to get to go play in this. What's the contest called? I already forgot what it was called. It's called the
Puppy Dogs. They got all sorts of names.
No, it's not the Puppy Dog.
Dance for 500, Alex.
The dance.
Look at that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. $30K to first. It's a fun way to make a lineup and kind of both with betting and with players, because I'm betting on the Celtics, obviously getting all the way to the finals. And if they do, I'd have a shot. Of course, if they're playing against the Phoenix Suns, I think that was my other team that I stacked them with. So anyways, check it out. Check out Josh Engelman's projections. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I did it for NFL. I had a lot of fun rooting for teams.
It's fun.
That way.
It's a lot of fun.
So check it out for sure. All right, let's go to the betting card. If you follow me on Twitter, I put out who I thought was going to win a couple of hours ago and put out a really funny picture I caught of my son today. Really funny face. Colin Morikawa is going to win this at 14-1 this week. You don't think he's going to win? He's definitely going to come in the top 10. I got plus 140 there. That's how I started my card. I then added Russell Henley and Harold Varner. Instead of betting them top 10, though, I bet them top 20 and to win. I think both those guys are on the cusp, and Chad Ramey, also a top 20. I think he's a good golfer and in good form, so I'm going to stick with that. How about you, Ben? Where are you starting your card this week?
Yeah, so a couple different directions. I think Tommy Fleetwood at 55-1 is a good, longer shot. You can open it up here. We've seen crazy winners, but the guy that I think is going to win is Patrick Cantlay. He's 18-1. If you don't want to go that, I really like Patrick Cantlay head-to-head against Cameron Smith. Yeah. Minus 110. It's just a toss-up. I think that Cantlay will get the best of him. I think that Cantlay's median outcome. Cam Smith has got crazy firepower, but when Cam Smith doesn't have it, he throws in some bad ones. And I know Cantlay wasn't in it in the Masters, but I think he bounces back in a big way here. I did take that matchup. That's probably my favorite bet, is that Patrick Cantlay will beat Cam Smith this week, and you're getting a straight bet minus 110.
Yeah, I actually, in fact, love that. I am more encouraged by Patrick Cantlay just making the cut last week. Because it was going bad, and it was going bad at Augusta. So kind of just erased both.
And he didn't have to grind at all. He was never in the tournament. He just coasted. He's fine. Say what you want, and it's unquantifiable, but Cam Smith was in the thick of it. And he played great, but that's gotta be taxing. I don't care what anybody says.
Gotta be. So let's go into lineup builds, because obviously when you're talking about Morikawa and Cantlay, as we just mentioned, you are definitely stringing my tunes for sure. And to start off with them in the lineup, Morikawa 10-2, Cantlay on 10,000. We're talking about on DraftKings here. Leaves us about an average of about 7,400. So I'm going to string, since you have strung my strings, I'm going to string yours and add Denny McCarthy in here.
Beautiful.
200. So I'll let you pick player number 4, $7,500. I am building this as I think Cantlay and Morikawa are going to go 1-2. So more of a GPP focus.
So there's a ton of options that you can go here. You get Morikawa and Cantlay at the top. We throw in Denny McCarthy. You can go anywhere. I'm going to put in Maverick McNeely, 79. Yes. We still have plenty of salary left. We've leveraged. We've got 4 big-time players, easy 2v2s all over the place. You can go into 6s. You can go double 7s. The floor is wide open when you do this. So when you've got Morikawa and Cantlay up top, and then you've got McCarthy, and then you throw in a guy like Maverick, it's an interesting build, but a lot of 2v2s will fit. And that's my favorite part about throwing a lineup like this together.
Same. I am keen this week. If we're going to just continue this build, I'm keen on Mito Pereira. I think he's going to be low owned. I think it's a good spot. If we're building this, as you said, for the $20 contest, I think he's a great one, which leaves us 7,000. We've talked about a ton of names. Tringale,
Ricky,
Wiley, not taking Ricky. CT Pan, interesting as a defending champion. So Davis Riley, let's talk about him for a second. Do you think that he is a good spot for this last one? Do you think we have any problems with uniqueness there?
No, I don't think we have any problems with uniqueness, but if you are worried about that, I'm very comfortable with Joel Dahman. I probably think he's the best available. You leave 200 on the table, you're going to be unique. I probably think that's what I would do if I was building this lineup just once. Morikawa, Cantlay, McCarthy, McNeely, Mito, and Joel Dahman. I mean, that's pretty strong for a 6. You got 2 north of 10. I feel good about that.
Love that build. Now let's just do for those cash players quickly. Adam Hadwin, you and I both said we would click his name first in that realm. I think this would be a great spot to use Webb Simpson. I think that he's starting to play better. I can't see him missing the cut here. You think Alex Noren, as good as he's playing, should be considered for this next spot the way we're building it?
Yeah, I mean, cash, usually you're building somewhat balanced lineups. I think that Fitzy probably is going to be a name that people will look to. He's making cuts. You could even start with him and you go like him and Webb. Then you'll have plenty of room. You've got Hadwin, you've got Noren. I think these are guys that you're going to be looking to in cash. Munoz might have been in that conversation. He's not here, of course, so don't do that. But I think I would put Fitzy in my cash lineup, yeah.
How about Matt Kuchar?
That's a tough one. I think he probably belongs in the conversation. Mm-hmm. If I don't play cash a ton. When I do, I would consider myself a pretty aggressive cash player, which is why I don't play it a ton, because cash is not about aggression.
Yeah, it's not.
I think Kuchar probably belongs in the cash consideration, but I would not use him. I would rather play Hoagie in cash.
Yeah, I think that was the next name that I was going to go to. Again, this core, Fitzpatrick, Simpson, Hadwin. You could fill him in with guys like Chris Kirk, Tom Holge, Alex Noren as your last three. If we had to go up into the nines, I think that you could find using Russell Henley here. I think he's playing such good golf. So if you want to get a little bit more aggressive, don't believe Webb Simpson's back from his injury, I would go right up there, use that 200 salary that I'm looking at, get Henley in that lineup. So that's a GPP build versus a cash build, everybody. That's going to take us right up till 9 o'clock here. Ben, as we were building those lineups, did I miss anybody in terms of chat? Anybody asking us anything? I don't think so.
No, I think we're all good.
All right. So good event this week. I really enjoy Hilton Head. Next week, we head to, what is it, WGC Mexico?
Oh, Chapultepec is back?
Chapultepec is back.
I hate that event. Now I really got to build good lineups. I can't stand. That's where Phil found those made up sprinklers.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that event.
Ben's least favorite event next week, everybody. So sign Ben up for winning a GPP next week. It's going to happen. Then we go to Wells Fargo, and then believe it or not, we only have another week after that before the next major. So a really good stretch of golf here. If you're not already an Awesemo Plus member, a great time to do so. And to close out the show, thanks to Yahoo, our sponsor. If you have not signed up with them already and want to become an Awesemo Plus member, it is a great time to sign up over there, because with your first deposit and a new user, you're going to get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum with your first deposit. It's right below me. You can check out the details below. So until next time, everybody, until next week at Chapultepec, good luck, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.